Alright mud lovers, I hope you're keeping safe. This video is dedicated to my good friend and mentor John Webb, who sadly passed away at the end of 2020. He was 82 years old and he packed his life full of treasure hunting and awesome adventures. In a minute I'm going to show you a documentary that was filmed in the 1970s featuring John Webb. It's a snapshot in his life showing his adventures and his treasure hunting and his research and his tenacious way that he went about finding lost history. If at the end of the video you want to hear more from John, I took the opportunity to interview him about a year ago and he went through lots of finds and told me amazing stories, so make sure you check that out. Now obviously myself and my friends are devastated that John is no longer with us. We spent hours in the field together and mudlarking, and he would tell me all sorts of information that I would try my best to absorb. He was a fountain of knowledge and he wrote various books on the subject, and he was a really good friend as well as a mentor. But he wouldn't want us to feel too down. He would want us to carry on, go out there and find whatever treasures we can. Whether you're a treasure hunter or you've got other ambitions, John was a true inspiration, and he really made it clear that if you want something bad enough, all you have to do is try your best and you should get the rewards. John was a working class lad and he grew up in the Blitz of London. He loved history and he loved looking for history. So during the time of the Blitz, coal was in high demand and people needed to heat the houses. And John was tenacious enough to find out where under all the rubble the coal chutes used to be, and apparently they were spaced out so far between each house, so maybe every 10th house had a coal chute, and he worked out by looking under the rubble of the Blitz where each chute was so he could provide coal for his family. And that's what John's all about. He spent his whole life searching for treasure so he could provide for his family. John worked as a tiler and a labourer, and the rest of the time he would be out treasure hunting, often at the expense of his personal life. He never drove, so everywhere he went on foot or public transport. On one occasion he walked 70 miles to one field that he liked the look of, because he couldn't afford the bus fare. He didn't mind though, because he enjoyed walking. Good job too. He even slept in ditches to make the most of the day searching, just another example of his sheer determination. In the late 1970s and 80s, mudlarking, our favourite hobby, was seriously under threat by the authorities. They didn't want a normal working class guy to go and take the items in the Thames, never to be seen again. So they tried to stop it completely. John was writing for Treasure Hunter magazine at the time and helped organise a demonstration outside Parliament to stop this decision from becoming reality. It wasn't long after that the Society of Mudlarks was formed to help build relations between mudlarks and the museum, and anything of significance was then recorded. John did this, so without this guy we wouldn't have the hobby that me and other mudlarkers enjoy today and produce these videos that hopefully entertain you. One of my favourite stories that John told me was when metal detecting first took off, he saw an advert in the paper from one from America, and he saved up and he ordered one and he worked out how it worked and then managed to create his own one that he then sold in the UK. So in doing so he put some adverts out in the local newspaper and started selling a few. And he claimed that this detector could see through walls and find coins that the human eye couldn't. A couple of months later he had a knock at the door. Trading Standards wanted to have a word. He opened the door to two Trading Standards officers and they wanted to know why he was a liar and selling these detectors with false claims. So he was infuriated by this and he went downstairs and he picked up a huge old tin bath full of coins. Some still had the mud on them. And with the sheer adrenaline, he pulled up the tin bath up the stairs and tipped it over at their feet and said, "Well, where did all these come from then?" And they sheepishly turned away and apologised and never came back. And not only did John share some of his stories with me, we also had a good few experiences together, including the one I caught on film where Cuffs found the gold coin. It was a great day for everyone, and I will cherish that memory as well, so again I'm glad I filmed it for posterity. And John is often in my thoughts when I'm struggling a bit or confused about what to do and where to go, and maybe feeling a little bit lethargic or down in the dumps. I'll just think, well, John's walked to bleeding Oxford, so you can do it. And that's the way that I want everybody to feel, hopefully, after seeing this video, is that you feel inspired to go out and do something and reach a goal and hopefully make 2021 a really good year. Unfortunately, John never did find that big cachet of gold coins, and probably we won't either. Unless we win the lottery or inherit a big heirloom, we're all going to have to work hard to reach our goals in life. And it's not necessarily about getting to the end and finding a big hoard. It's about the journey, enjoying life and, you know, having an adventure. And in the process, we will have some good days and find some great stuff. So that's the lesson that I want to take from John. Whenever I'm feeling down, I always give myself a little motivational think by thinking about how John would approach it and give it some of that old John Webb spirit. Now I want to finish on a quick story about the time he jumped off Hammersmith Bridge wearing scuba gear. He sunk to the bottom and he felt around trying to find wherever he could, and he did. He found some swords and some other bits and pieces. It was a fantastic opportunity, but I would never do that. Try and imagine jumping off into the Thames. An Olympic swimmer can't even swim against that tide, it's so strong. So he was either very brave or he was pushed. I don't know. But it just goes to show you what a tenacious guy he was. After John told me that story, I said, "John, it sounds amazing. Wouldn't it be great if they made a film about your life?" And he said, "Yeah, it would be pretty good, but no one would believe it." Enjoy the film.
This is John Webb. From the age of 5, when he bought a Victorian vase with pocket money, he's been fascinated by antiques. Now 32, he earns his living discovering buried treasure. He finds it with a machine bought in America, quite simply by listening for it.
Well, it's been a pretty interesting day. Found a couple of Victorian florins, 1870s period, 3 Georgian counters, original ones. They're gaming counters. Halfpenny, modern sixpence, musket balls, very important. Now these are the clues as to what I'm looking for in this area. These pieces around this side are shrapnel, numerous masses of it in this area. Silver paper, terrible, curse of mankind.
You probably haven't seen this little thing before. It's a pocket or muff gun, and it's believed used by ladies in their muffs when they were travelling in their carriages through the forest, a bit nervous, so they had this in their muffs, and they pulled it out if necessary, especially when they're travelling through Epping Forest, which was a haunt of highwaymen.
Well, from this point, you mentioning highwaymen in Epping Forest, this is my main reason for seeing yourself. I'm trying to narrow down the field in Epping Forest, a certain area where highwaymen congregated. Is there such a place? I mean, does such a thing exist?
Yes, I have a book here which I think will interest you. The most famous gang, the Waltham Blacks, appeared about 1690. They were a murderous horde of desperadoes who once nearly captured William III himself on his way through the forest to Newmarket. This particular gang camped in the Wake Valley between Waltham and Epping.
The Wake Valley?
Indeed.
Marvellous. Well, this is what I'm looking for, Jack, a smaller area. Anything more specific in the way of a date? I'm trying to get something really down, really narrow.
Yes, about, I suppose, 1690 would be one of their important periods.
Do you think, Jack, honestly, that the highwaymen themselves spent all the money they stole, or did they spend half, bury half, or spend some, bury some?
It was quite difficult to dispose of a large amount of booty, and the best thing was, in fact, to bury it or something like that, and then dispose of it in small lots when it was less liable to be discovered. So I don't see why there shouldn't be an opportunity of finding one or two of these spots that received stolen goods.
Hello, Rob. I've got a few. It's a bottle for you. Hello, what
Ah. That's a Victorian bottle. Is that, Rob? Medicine? Made between 1880 and 1900.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. What else you got? Ah, they're bits of Victorian china, plates, and as a part of a handle.
No.
Yeah, well, it's nice, Rob. It's not very valuable. Still, keep trying, Rob.
Oh.
Keep trying. Bye, Rob. You hear masses of stories about colossal amounts of money that have been stolen, millions of pounds it runs into. These stories are normally very, very exaggerated. What I do is to find out exactly what was stolen, exactly where, and this takes a long time, a lot of research, and takes all the romance out of it and brings it down to cold, hard figures. To do this, I have to go to many sources, and eventually I finish by going to the Guildhall Library.
Can I help you?
I'd like to know if you've got a copy of the Anglia NICHOLLS,
Yeah.
the Old Bailey session papers,
Yeah.
and the London Gazette, all for 1735.
Yeah, we've got full sets of those. Have you got the dates, sir?
Yes.
Okay, well, if you give me that and take a seat, we'll write out the tickets and send them along to you shortly.
Thank you.
Fine.
Right, thank you. A very considerable reward met their unhallowed industry, including a silver tankard, a gold watch and chain, a silver medal of Charles I, and a number of minor silver articles. One day I shall make the really big find. This is the Mildenhall treasure, the Sutton Hoo treasure type of find. This is the thing that really drives all treasure hunters, like myself, on. This is the main thing in your life, the thought that one day you'll come up with this type of find, and I'm working to this end now.
I'm going to bed.
We're going to bed now.
Well, I haven't always been a treasure hunter. I started by becoming an apprenticed upholsterer for 2 weeks, left and become an apprentice sheet metal worker for 6 months, left, become an apprentice cooper, and then went eventually into wall and floor tiling, where I spent a number of years, too many in fact.
There you go, Daddy's busy.
Daddy's busy now.
Well, I've been called a romantic at different times, but I think I'm a realist. I look at things very logically, very coldly, and I weigh up all the facts. I check my information very, very thoroughly, and I don't think a romantic would do this. Of course, the first thing you've got to do before you start any operation is get permission from the proper authorities, and then you can carry on to set out the job. You judge a tree, I can tell a tree approximately its age by looking at it. From the trees, you look for paths, old tracks, rights of way, this sort of thing. You look for clues, you look for virgin soil, dips in the ground, bumps, anything unnatural, anything man-made. This machine transmits a signal 5 feet into the ground, which is interrupted by the presence of metal, either ferrous or non-ferrous. There is 6 million half-crowns to date, which are unaccounted for by mint figures, and this was during the recall of last year. Now this 6 million half-crowns is nearly £1 million, which is quite a sum of money, all buried in the ground, all lost somewhere. Now there's this to be found only, and this is just purely half-crowns. You've got the florins, you've got the shillings, you've got the sixpences, threepences, pennies, halfpennies, although they're no longer in circulation and now are a collector's item, and as such, more valuable than some of the florins. A shrapnel, numerous masses of it in this area. It's a lot of digging, needlessly, but it's there, and you've got to find it. I've had people come up to me and ask me how many bombs I found this morning, and at other times I've been taken for the police. I've been taken to bomb disposal. I've myself located 3 major weapons. This is 2 anti-tank mines, 1 mortar bomb, all very much alive and all very much lethal. I can honestly say that I've never, if I spent all day digging up silver plate, I'd have the same enthusiasm at the end of the day as I would if I'd have carried on digging up coins, oddments, you know. It's the thought that there's something there. I mean, and after the research you've done, let's face it, after the research you've actually done into this, you know there's something there, and the silver paper is just incidental. I never get lonely anywhere. I couldn't get lonely in a desert or up a mountain or in the middle of the ocean, I don't suppose. You know. This is the type of person I am. I'm just not the type to get lonely. I love the archaeological side of it, the actual finding of an old object. Something fantastic in this. To find something old that's been buried for 100, 200, 300 years, 400 years, 1,000 years, you know, and to be the first person to find it. But I couldn't purely be archaeologically interested without the money coming in. You've got to make money from it to continue to do it. It's a combination of cash and archaeology. And these 2 objects here, well, they're at least 200 years old, this I know, by the incrustations on it and the depth they was found at. I'd found some coins, advertised them in the local paper. I had one man, he actually sat outside my door for 4 hours waiting for me to come home from work. he sorted through my coins. He eventually bought a few dozen off me. And these Spanish coins are amongst these. I got £5. I felt quite good that I'd actually earned some money. And then I got an answer from America, and the coins were valued, they valued the coins at £700 and odd each.
Right, John, can you do me on that?
I'd say about, £3 an hour.
Joking, aren't you? Well, it barely passes fine condition.
No, that's true, but it is a sort of semi-scarce coin.
I got a man for French Revolution stuff. 2, do you?
Split the difference?
Yeah, okay, I think so. I got a collector for this. You see what it was?
It's a French, this is all I know.
République Française, French Republic. 5 centimes, 5 centimes. But here's the interesting bit. The only date it has is l'an 8, the year 8. That's the new French Revolutionary calendar. They decided to scrap all the old dates and start from scratch in 1789. So, if this is the year 8, this is 1797.
That's
I think my bloke will be quite interested in that. Right.
Sold.
Now, how about that? It's just about good enough for somebody's cabinet.
Yeah. £1?
Well, I think so. There's interest in this now, because that was the first florin that was marked 1/10 of a pound. You know, it was the first attempt to decimalize the currency.
That's true.
Forget what year it was now. Let's have a look. 1840 something. Yeah, okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
Right, I'll take those and the bulk stuff that my man who makes trinket boxes wants. You know, the Vicky halfpennies and farthings.
Farthings, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll take 50 each. Usual price, bob a lump, okay?
Fine, lovely.
Well then, John, there's a few bob in your pocket. But do you actually make a living at this?
A living. So, there's better things to come, Michael. I've got here a story about Bonnie Prince Charlie's 35,000 gold louis, which he buried.
Goody, goody, lovely, yes.
His associates buried. Well, this is, although this story is not all fact as such, there are parts which are true. Now, I've verified this from different sources, and I shall shortly be going up there to give it a small investigation, you know?
Oh, so you will you? Let me have a look now.
That's what you think. If I get the 35,000 gold louis,
yeah, you'll keep me in mind, won't you? Yeah. Yeah, 35,000 gold louis.
worth a tidy sum.
Yes, bob or two, yeah. And they'll be mint uncirculated, of course.
Uncirculated.
What always bothers me about this is that all this lovely evidence, why hasn't it been dug up yet?
Well, because people like yourself, Michael, they
What
talk about it and never pick a shovel up and dig for it.
And you propose to do just that, don't you?
Just that.
Oh, well, best of Scottish luck if you find it.
Oh, thanks, son.
Cup of tea.
Lovely. I'm going up to Scotland for a week or two,
Are you?
Yeah. In this area, it's Loch Arkaig. This is the Bonnie Prince Charlie treasure. So, you'll be all right?
Yes, that'll be fine, yes. What are you going up there? What are you going to find? You know, coins?
Yeah,
gold coins?
it's gold louis. These are 35,000 gold louis, it says in this part anyway. But
That'd be nice.
yeah, lovely. This is the big one. This is the first attempt. First look, real good look into it. I shall find something of interest to prove my point. I don't know with the money, it's far too early yet. The 35,000 louis d'or, they're waiting somewhere.